Viewers and subscribers, you're welcome back again. This is still BVI Channel 1, where we bring you up to speed with what is happening across Nigeria. And also preaching the gospel of good governance, because ultimately Nigerians are victims of bad governance. Just take a look at this old man crying after he bought fuel. Can you imagine? That is the price Nigerians have to pay for being gullible. Nobody is talking about your ethnicity. Nobody is talking about your religion. Nobody is saying Muslim ticket. No, nobody is shouting those shit, because election has gone. Now the suffering continues. Nigerians, if you now no get sense with this one, you now no go ever get sense. You know one thing? The electoral season, the Emilocons, divided Nigerians across board within the lines of ethnicity and religious bigotry. But I can tell you that the suffering of Nigeria under this government will forcefully unite them, whether they like it or not. Yes. Yes. Is it not the NLC? You know, I called them out in the previous video. The president had come up to refute that useless 25 to 35% increase in the minimum wage. Listen to him.
And this the proposition.
What has been the percentage increase in transportation between the last time when we moved, removed subsidy to 500 and something and 500 to 700 and something? What has been the percentage increase in terms of electricity tariff, which has gone more than 500% between the last minimum wage to date? So we have to take these things together, not the percentage increase in terms of 30,000 to where we are today. Things are not going at even that percentage increase between last time and now. If you watch, that was equally the driving motive for us to have asked for equally a wage award. And if you check, the federal government added another 35,000 to 30,000, which was 65,000, which is still not enough. At least for people to be alive, pending when the new minimum wage will be announced. And the governors, they know it too well that they are not equally designing their own minimum wage, but they are showing the human nature of their administration.
But let's look at it. And the reason why I asked whether or not this figure you're proposing is realistic is what we have seen before. That just before now, some years back, when some states were declared not able to be able to fund their own activities, the only thing they could do is pay salaries, and that was all. Several states were declared insolvent. And those who do the figures will tell you, out of the 36 states, about 25 of them are most times insolvent, because after paying salaries, they are unable to do nothing. And most of these states are regarded as civil servant states. Now, they're getting more money. If 615,000 naira is what you are proposing, how realistic in the terms of some states that have almost 55% of the overhead or the salaries or wages of workers as their bottom line, how would they be able to cope if the minimum wage is pegged at 615? Don't forget, Mr. Ajaero, that most of these states for several years after 30,000 naira was announced, they couldn't even pay. Some of them are still defaulting up to today.
Well, I think we need to understand the issue of ability to pay and issue of not getting the priority right. You know, most of the states that have shown willingness to pay are not among those that are getting the highest revenue. Even during the time of General Muhammadu Buhari, and some states were declared as not having enough money to pay, and he released funds for them to pay. Those states still went ahead and refused to pay. Now, it's not a question of whether the quantum of money they have or not. It's what they decide to do with such money. If they get their priority right, then a lot can happen. Remember, I told you before that if we do what we are supposed to do in terms of what is expected to us as a government and as people, and we're able to check inflation, check all other in this, check cost of foodstuff, go into massive agriculture, have a kind of self-sufficiency, you know, in the nation, then we will pay less attention to the quantum, to hundreds of millions and thousands. And then if these are parts of governance, if we leave it and we see a situation whereby even a loaf of bread, you see a situation where a loaf of bread will be higher than, you know, the money you are talking of. We can't continue this way. If you allow the situation to remain the way it is today, inflation flying, devaluation of the currency, this 615 will not last for the next 1 year. It will not be enough for the worker. So what we are calling the attention of the Nigerian government to look at such indices that we need to work along with whatever we are supposed to agree so that it will last and it will be realistic. When you talk of realistic, realistic is not when I collect 500,000, I will spend it on transportation and I will not have anything to eat. Realistic is that with what I collect, and it should be able to take me home, even if I'm not going to have 1 Naira savings. And that is what Labour has proposed. If tomorrow we look at inflation, look at the valuation of the currency and all other indices, and we say from this time to this time, we can predict with certain measure of certainty that inflation will be here, and that this is what an average person needs to survive in one month or in 1 week, we can agree on that.
You see, you heard it. How can this government, somebody said the amount is demanding is outrageous. 600. Who told you it is outrageous? Compared with the kind of life these public servants have placed on themselves. Is it not here I reminded you that the same Tinubu immediately got into office increased the salaries of the president, vice president, ministers, senators, House of Rep members, and the rest of them by 114%. And you are giving the real workers, this is clear monkey the walk, baboon the shop. You are giving them a mega 25% increase. And what is it? 7,000 naira or thereabout. If you have been paid 30,000 naira minimum wage, then you'll be going home with that 7,000. 37,000 for a whole month. Is that, what kind of wickedness will you call that? Tell me who 37,000, even to go to work and come back, with the level of hike in fuel prices, high inflation rate, hike in tariff of electricity, where Nigerians are now paying more, living in darkness. We're not talking about hike in insecurity, because everything have hiked in Nigeria, because the hijackers of the power have nowhere else to place Nigeria than to hike everything at the detriment of you Nigerians. You not see them? You not see them? So, Nigerians, I will continue preaching this message here. You will continue getting this message here. And I just hope as you're watching it, you are sharing it. Because if Nigerian people no get sense now, they will never ever get sense again. Because when the time reach, they will start throwing up ethnic bigotry. We'll continue on this message for the next 4 years. At least the next 3 years. So that our eyes go clear. What's your take on this? Drop it on the comment section. If you believe in this message and you want Nigerians to be united in action against this never do wells in power, share this video to every Nigerian you know, or any platform of Nigerian people you know. Bye-bye for now. And don't forget to subscribe for more.